We are continuing with the teachings of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj from the book I Am That. Last time we were discussing how to go beyond the mind, and pertaining to that, the questioner asks, so I'll just recapitulate what we discussed in the previous video, which was Maharaj was told by his guru that I am is the supreme reality. And he put his faith in his guru's words and moved on. And that helped him to see truth. Now the questioner is asking, you meant to say this was enough? Now when this type of question comes in, it is generally indicative that there is a lack of trust in the person's words. And it can be that the questioner may be feeling that Maharaj is not speaking the truth. So Maharaj says, now I'm going to read his words. He says, what more needs be done? It was quite a lot to remember the Guru and his words. My advice to you is even less difficult than this. Just be yourself. I am is enough to heal your mind and take you beyond. Just have some trust. I don't mislead you. Why should I? Do I want anything from you? I wish you well. Such is my nature. Why should I mislead you? Common sense too will tell you that to fulfill a desire, you must keep your mind on it. If you want to know your true nature, you must have yourself in mind all the time until the secret of your being stands revealed. Whenever we have any kind of desire, what do? We put all our focus and attention to that desire. Now this can be anything. It can be a worldly desire, a materialistic pursuit like attaining wealth, trying to get higher positions in the organization that we are working, having a fulfilling relationship with a partner, raising children, or anything for that matter, even a spiritual pursuit. What do? We put all our focus, all our mind to it. However, there is a difference between the worldly desires and desire for self-knowledge. Worldly desires divide. They divide between me that is desiring something other than itself. Whereas the desire for self-realization is a very wholesome desire because it destroys this subject-object split of me trying to attain something other than myself. So when we put all our attention to ourself, when I say ourself, it does not mean the image of me that I see, but to my own being. Then what happens is that I become the being. I do not attain truth, but I become the truth. I do not consider myself a part of the whole, but I become wholeness. I am no more a minuscule part of this universe, but I become the universe. This is what Maharaj is trying to tell us. That let that desire be there. Let the desire for self-realization be there, and put your mind to yourself and you will know your true nature. Then the questioner further says, why should self-remembrance bring one to self-realization? And this is a genuine question, because we are using the mind to go beyond the mind. So how is it going to happen? And Maharaj says, and I think his response is sufficient to understand this. He says, because they are but two aspects of the same state. Self-remembrance is in the mind, self-realization is beyond the mind. The image is the mirror, the image in the mirror is of the face beyond the mirror. What is shown in the mirror is an image. But the reality of image is beyond the mirror. What we see in the mirror is a two-dimensional image. But in reality, that image has a depth. It is much beyond. And if we can see that, then we do not limit ourselves to that image in the mirror. Because that image does not have depth. Therefore, our being is infinite and it is vast. Whereas the separate self or the ego that we think we are is like that limited two-dimensional image in the mirror. It is limited, it is full of self-doubt, it lives in fear, it is unable to see what its real nature is. It thinks that mirror is the only reality. But what it fails to see is the light that is enabling the mirror and the image that is being formed in the mirror. Once we know that we are that light, then there is nothing that can contain us to that limited state, because we find ourselves to be limitless. So Maharaj is saying that self-remembrance is not an intellectual contemplation, because intellectual contemplation or dialogue to go beyond the mind would be futile. What he's saying, just be. Just use your mind to bring your attention to your being, your I am. It would be even wrong to say your I am. It is just I am, your beingness, and you become it. You don't attain it because it is never lost. It is the ground of experiential awareness. But it itself is vast and infinite. And then the questioner says, fair enough, but what is the purpose? And Maharaj says, to help others, one must be beyond the need of help. When you understand your own beingness, your own amness, you do not seek solutions and you do not provide answers to others, but you simply let them be. In other words, you just point them to their own true nature, which is not separate from yours. And that is the greatest service that you can do, because that is what brings happiness to the biological organism. This mind-body instrument, which is here, just channeling the message. Questioner says, all I want is to be happy. And Maharaj says, be happy to make happy. When you are at peace, when you know your true nature, you won't even have to convince anybody about anything. Your radiance itself will convey what needs to be conveyed. You will revel and shine in your own light. And this will be seen by others. And they will borrow peace and wisdom from you. But till you live in a state of division, that means till your mind lives in the subject-object split, where it says that I am not enough and I need this, 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 to be enough, to be whole. You constantly live in division, separation, fragmentation, and that is a painful way to live. Till you do not find love within yourself as your being, your life will be continuously in search of love from external world, from objects of the external world. And no object outside of yourself will bring you any true happiness. But the true happiness and peace lies within you, and it shines as your own being. The awareness, aware of itself as pure awareness. Not as I am this and that, but simply as I am. And lastly, Maharaj says, Sir, you are not separate. The happiness you cannot share is spurious. Only the shareable is truly desirable. The peace and happiness that you cannot share with others has no value, no worth. If you are truly peaceful and happy within, your entire being will radiate that. Without you even trying to share, it will be shared. That is its very nature. That is why you must have seen that when you are in the presence of a sage, when I say sage, I mean a person with an understanding, you will experience peace. It doesn't mean that the sage is a perfect human being, because human being and perfection does not go together. But the sage is the one who understands their conditioning perfectly and is completely in terms with it. Sage does not create divisions between me and the other. Sage sees others and me as one energy. So sage does not have to do anything to spread happiness or peace, but their own being radiates that. Therefore, let your mind invert on itself and always remember yourself. This has been a potent pointer from many Advaita masters, where they would say, just be yourself and that is enough. That will take you far. And you can do all the practices like japa, meditation, kirtan, or anything that you like. But eventually, all these practices are also pointers that are pointing to your own true self. So if the desire to know oneself is there, that desire, according to me, is a wholesome desire, because it brings self-knowledge. Any other desire is going to take you apart from yourself, because you see it outside of yourself. So that is going to increase the separation. And separation by nature is suffering. So establish yourself in your own truth. That is what Maharaj says in this book, I Am That. Establish yourself in your truth and you will be it. You will not have to put any effort to attain anything, but you will simply become it.